and then start streaming. And if everything is working well, everything should work. So,
the man says.
Well, that's what we usually do. So, gonna switch this over, and boom! Hello world, and welcome.
Hello world.
Welcome to Tech Talk number 5 with me, Sergio at PC Shed, and Andrew, aj-atomica.
Hello, I'm just trying to actually sort out my tabs. I've been lazy. I should have done this earlier.
Preparation
is key.
preparation.
I know, yeah, I get it.
But while you're doing that, I'll just check our feed, make sure that we're not absolutely going schizo over the sound. And also got chat open. And
yeah, if you click on the stream, don't forget that it will be a repeat into the actual stream itself. So whatever we're saying will be repeated, I don't know, a couple of seconds later or whatever the stream delay is.
Yeah, I'll refresh that. What I noticed is when we go live, it doesn't go through the normal YouTube. It goes YouTube Gaming live for whatever reason, and there's a pain in the ass. But hey ho, never mind. We do what we got to do. So you've been busy this week, fella?
Me? Not really. I've been having a lazy week, really. I mean, I've been to the gym, but I've been working and just playing video games. Playing a hell of a lot of Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, which I've become addicted to already. So
nice one. No, but I hardly had any time this week to do any gaming. Just because there's quite a few things going on at the moment. But I just need to sort these windows out, and then we can get...
you just said to me preparation is key.
Well, yeah, I've got a lot of windows open.
I've got 2. Well, I've got more than 2 actually, but 2 I'm focusing on.
If I stick that there, and I should be alright. So I can...
That's what she said.
Well, Richard says feed is fine and sounds great. Well, thank you very much, Richard Downey, aka founder of PC Shed, aka Titan X Pascal folder galore this week. Give him credit, he has virtually pushed from our target that was left for the last 6 months of 187 million and managed to push up to 189 million, which we'll cover that later on. But anyway, topics. I put the title of this podcast, Waiting for PC Hardware to Come Out is Killing Me. It really is.
Why is it not surprised?
How much longer do we have to wait for PC hardware to release? And I'm talking about Nvidia, AMD, Intel. It seems like since late 2016 we've all been saying we just wait for this and wait for that based on paper specs and video demos, but is it time to look at what we actually got now and enjoy it? That's my little description of our podcast. But definitely we'll divert from that.
That was your title. That's a really long title.
That's description. Yeah, I just typed that in on YouTube to find it. But yeah,
it's really. I'll just click on there. Yeah.
No, but I've got to admit, this week has just flown by. There's been a lot of stuff happening with my family, which I'll talk off air after that. But I hardly had anything. But I'll let you start because I always ramble on. I always take over.
No, I mean, you're quite welcome to ramble on because technically this is your podcast.
No. This is a joint venture of 2. Well,
I was actually going to say, I mean, I know we got topics and everything, but
that's fine.
I'm noticing that blue and white box right behind you. Care to elaborate on that?
Yeah, I did mention last podcast that because we've been having like loads of sound issues and God knows what, and I hate having lack of control. Ooh, bring that over. So the microphone that I use is a Rode NT USB microphone. Has been brilliant. Love it.
Phenomenal microphone.
Fantastic. The only thing that lacks of it is because it's a USB connectivity, it doesn't have XLR. So any mixers of any type always requires XLR. So I came across this bad boy, which is NT1A, which is the world's quietest studio microphone, which is normally used for acoustics, sound recording, voice, music. But this comes, you ready for this? 10 bloody year warranty. That's so frigging good. And it came up with everything.
That is a good warranty.
Came up, can I show you? There you go. Pop, shield, shock mount, XLR cable, a good one as well. And there's a light, so I can't show you. And of course the 10. It goes road, it's superb. So
I was going to say, just a quick poke into being nosy, is how much did that bad boy cost? Just curious.
I got this, I think 15 quid saving was normally 135 if you go anywhere, but I got 15 quid saving because I used a store called Anderston's Music & Co. And because I bought that together with it, and what this is, it's just a bog standard, can't see that, here we go. Yeah, the reason I got this, two reasons. One, it's got phantom power, which you need for XLR condenser microphones, and also it's a 4-channel, but mainly it's like 2 channels that you can control, and it's got effects and all sorts. But I've never used one of these before, and I've been looking around and people recommending it. Plus, it came with a lot of software, which normally costs quite a bit of money. But it's very simple to use, apparently. So I haven't even had time to set that up. I just took it out the box, had a look at it, and I actually think I've got the unit here somewhere, plugged it in. But like I said, I didn't even have time to go into the details, but that's how big the actual unit is.
It's not too bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite small. I mean, you can got different connections up here. So XLR, or virtually your jack, and you just control your gain. And then below it, you've got your frequencies low. You can pan left and right, peak it, and also what I like is it's got a monitor for clipping. So as soon as you put your gain, if it starts reaching red, you can just turn it down. And that's unfortunately, because I'm recording through OBS, I can't really have a lot of control on the sound side. I'm still keeping the Rode because it's been fantastic. It's probably my best. Still got 4 years warranty on it, which is unbelievable.
It's probably like the best microphone you can get for, like, commentaries and
and you can pick them up on eBay now. A lot of people are selling them on, and you can pick them up for about 60-70 quid, which is a bargain, because this, like, brand new, I think is about 120
135,
yeah, I
think.
And that comes with its own stand. I went and got a boom for it, because I hate having a microphone, because I'm clumsy. I'm always banging into stuff, and all you can hear is and not nice.
No, it's never nice. You hear all the banging on the desk, and mind you, with mine, I haven't got a shock mount on mine. So every time I hit the desk, I always hear the springs vibrating on mine.
Hello, Kyle. Thanks for joining us. Kyle from last week. I don't know if you remember.
Hello, Kyle. I can remember the mention of Kyle, but I don't know who he is. I can't put a face to the name.
It says that piece looks fab. Well, I don't know. I haven't fully tested it. I've just been putting cables and routing and hiding cables from my daughter, and because she's been pulling stuff. Every time I turn my PC today, or any day, it's like, okay, so what's not going to work today? Like, today was my keyboard. So it's like, why isn't my keyboard working? And look, all right, my USB's been yanked out, and one of my cameras was unplugged, and I thought, bloody hell. Yeah. But there you go.
One thing I always have with my keyboard, I think it's because I'm running off USB power, even though it's got an additional jack on the back, right, for additional power.
Yeah.
Even though it's running off USB, it keeps constantly disconnecting. I don't know if that's a common issue with mechanical keyboards or just
could be
this particular one. I don't know.
Could be your. Have you tried swapping a USB port? What I've noticed, I've got 2 identical cameras, and every time I use the OBS, it keeps knocking one off. And I thought, it must be OBS. But then it does the same thing on Skype. And I thought, right, so I swapped the ports to the front, and works fine. So one of my USB ports doesn't like to play.
I'll have to.
Kyle,
I'll do it later. But I have to double check, see which port it's in, and have a go that way.
Kyle Ed says, "Hello, Mr. AJ."
Hello,
Cool.
Mr. AJ. I've never been called Mr. AJ.
Oh, well,
before.
you know, I am a polite foreigner. So yeah, that was my.
I'm a foreigner too. I'm from Scotland, so
There
I'm
you go.
technically a foreigner as well.
Yeah. So that was my purchases this week. I had been keeping an eye out on eBay and all sorts. There's a lot of gear overpriced. People on eBay, message for you. If you're selling something second hand, why are you
Yes.
charging more than the unit is bought new? Answer me that. Right? I saw a 980 Ti, right, for £499. £499. And that was used, considering when the 980 Ti came out. And it's
I've seen. You know how much like the EVGA versions of the 1080s and everything. For some reason, they're always more. Like it's a Founders Edition. Yeah, it's still 750 quid for some reason. But I've actually seen a Founders Edition EVGA 1080 on eBay for £1,000.
Yeah.
It's like why?
Yeah.
What? Why? What's
Well,
warranty the extra £300?
yeah. What I've noticed is there's a lot of American sellers,
Yeah.
and for whatever reason, when you sell on eBay, eBay suggests a starting price, selling price, and whatever reason in the States, it's a huge markup. I saw someone trying to sell a X58 Asus Rampage motherboard, which is an epic motherboard. You're talking fair years back, right? Almost £500. And I just googled it, and on eBay I found the same board. I think it was about 160 quid. It was still a lot of money. And I said, "Why are you charging almost triple the price?" I'm just curious. Just message him privately, and I said, "Well, that's the going price." I said, "Is it?"
No.
Well, that's new to bloody me. But there you go.
I think technology had like a fine wine sort of. The older it is, the more you pay for
There
it.
is some tech. I mean, people do with mobile phones.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Apple lovers out there where they buy old phones that's still in the original package, still sealed. And they pay over the amounts because they're collector's items. They become. Well, yeah, we're saying that now, but look, remember the original Apple computer? They're collector's items now, and people pay stupid money for them. Well,
Because people are stupid with the money. And people
Well,
are
yeah, but in regards to technology, graphics cards, there's a lot of graphics cards collectors. I'm one of them, but I won't go to the extent of buying a card brand new, sealed. Don't take it out the box. Use it.
Can't get any dust on it.
My son likes my keyboard and power button. Apparently, on the computer, spot on. I don't like Apple stuff, but I sell it because it fetches good money from Apple sheep. You too bloody right.
I mean,
Yeah.
I had an iPhone 4. I think it was just a standard iPhone 4, and then I sold it 3 years after it came out.
Yeah.
Because I got a new contract with Samsung Galaxy S5 at the time, and I still got 100 quid for it. It was a 3-year-old phone, and I still got 100 quid for it. I think with my actual, I got it here. I've upgraded somewhat. I've gone from the S5 to the S6.
Well, yeah, very nice.
Not much different, but it is faster and all that fun shenanigans.
Yeah.
I can still get £100 for this one, apparently.
Yeah.
So it's not bad.
No.
Phone talk.
Yeah. Well, it's tech, isn't it? Because gaming is moving to mobile phones. That's the biggest consumers at the moment. And
I don't care. I don't game on my mobile phone.
yeah.
I can't be asked. I really
Right.
don't. I don't enjoy it. I've tried playing like Angry Birds and a few others, and I just can't get into it.
Well,
I have tried.
I think the last game I played on the mobile was, Jesus Christ, what was it? Bejeweled?
Yeah.
Well, I'm waiting to kill some time, a break or whatever. Just no.
I just watch YouTube. That's all I do. I just sit there and watch YouTube. And because I got an internet, so now I'm watching all like hints and tips and tricks and stuff to do with that.
Yeah.
Whenever I get 5 minutes, I'm like, what can I learn today?
Yeah. Cool. So, your first topic, sir.
My first topic, I'm going to dive in right at the deep end. It's going to keep everyone on their toes. Porn being secretly uploaded to YouTube.
What?
Which is always, yeah. It's
never. I don't believe that. YouTube's quickie clean YouTube.
No. Apparently there is like porn uploaded to it, but it's like that stupid Asian porn where everything's censored. So why would you even bother? But right, let's see if I can catch it. So what's been going on is that people have been getting past. As you know, Google has its own like encryptions and software that stop you from uploading or supposed to stop you from uploading like copyright content and stuff like that. And what people have been doing is uploading full-blown porn videos privately, so it doesn't get hit by these, the flagging system that YouTube automatically does, and they keep it private, but they can still share the link. People can view it on another website. Yeah. And they get all the monetization benefits from it.
Really? Even if it's private? Yes. I didn't know that. Wow. Yep. I know you could share. I know you can share links on a private video because I've done that on stuff that I sold on eBay. Made a quick video, and then I've got another channel where I keep all the stuff.
Yeah. I've got a few private videos. I mean, one of them was like, I'll go a bit more in depth another time, but I've joined a band now, and I uploaded a video, just a bit of a demo of like a song we were learning, and I kept that private, and they're the only guys who've seen it. I don't think I'll make it public because it's crappy sounding Stratocaster playing heavy metal. It doesn't work. They get past the Content ID software by uploading into the private videos, and they're able to link it to external sites, whatever the sites may be, and they get all the ad revenue benefits from uploading to YouTube, even though it's not public on YouTube. Wow, and I don't know if there's, going by the report I've seen anyway, I don't know if there's like YouTube actually intends to try and get around that somehow. I don't know, but
that's a bit of a loophole, isn't it?
It's a little bit, yeah.
Because what I've seen,
and that's on the Independent. That's on their own website, so.
Right, I can see that my lighting is flashing for whatever reason. I don't know why.
Flashing to say hello.
Okay.
Should be alright.
Yeah, it's just the.
I think that's probably about as in depth into the topic. I mean.
Well, no offense. I'll go deeper on that. No offense, but
what she said.
Yay! Kaboom! Hey. On regards to like 18 rated stuff, doesn't matter if it's porn or whatever. The YouTube had a firm clamp on it, and as soon as I thought they cheeky. As soon it was whatever system they have in place, you would get striked. That's why if you got a YouTube account, you got a health status, meaning that if it's a good healthy account. If you have strikes, then you have limitations on your account in regards to the amount you can upload, the number of minutes and stuff like that. But I've seen videos on YouTube where it's 18 plus, and it's mainly Chinese uploaders, showing full blown everything, and the only thing that they have is just the parts where it's pixelated.
Yeah, that's
pixelated boobs, arse or whatever, and I thought, well,
it's all censored, but what's the point?
Yeah, so you allow that. Surely you have allowed that because there's just thousands of them. But then, you get like a video of bloopers or whatever, and a woman's falls over and drops her tits out, and it's like gets flagged. It's like nude. I don't get it. Yeah,
I don't get it.
Interesting. So,
but we touched on a topic that PewDiePie's already covered, because he actually made a video a few weeks back of like the problem with YouTube, or one of the problems with YouTube, and one of them was the oh god, it's gone now. But yeah, it was just like he's getting porn in suggested videos, he's like clicking on gaming stuff, and
Yeah.
the porn is coming up, and it's like this is
Porn,
an issue.
you know, porn sells, mate. Yeah, I tell you
I
what,
know
I
porn
thought
sells, but
Yeah,
this isn't the site for it.
and that's the thing, because
you
you've got to think of the amount of teenagers that that kind of access porn sites or whatever, but they use YouTube like it's like a temple for everything. So for them, they'll go,
It's good, but
hey,
it's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination.
Kyle Edge says PewDiePie needs to leave YouTube. Yes, no,
good for YouTube in a way.
I don't know. I used to watch a lot of his stuff years ago, and it was like it was daft. I found him quite funny. I found his girlfriend really nice, Maria.
Yeah, she's quite pretty.
Yeah,
Actually,
yeah. And what I've noticed over time, it just doesn't. It's the same thing, you know. I used to love it when he used to do cover games, weird games,
Yeah.
and it's just his way of portraying and playing the game. That Kyle says, just agree with me. No, everybody's entitled to their opinion.
Everyone's got one.
No, but I think having somebody like him, you know, aspires people that want to be a content creator like him. But there's a lot of copycats out there anyway, so...
Yeah, I was going to say, the thing about... I'll actually touch back on that in a second. But the thing about doing any kind of gaming content on YouTube, and unless you're already established, unless you're one of these old school YouTubers from like back in the day, you got no chance in hell of actually, you know, coming forward, no matter how good your content is, because everyone's doing gaming content on YouTube now.
You can blame Twitch for that.
Yeah. But what I was going to get back actually is that when I was going through, you know, like, you know, hey, you know, check out my videos, I'll check out yours, you know, sort of deal on YouTube and Twitter, I found a guy. He subscribed to me and then unsubscribed straight away. Get that a lot. Happens. But he was blatantly just copying PewDiePie, like the fact that he was Swedish. He was actually Swedish.
Okay,
and
nothing wrong with
when
that.
he was playing a game, he was just playing Call of Duty, and he was like, he would spawn in, start sprinting, and he'd just start screaming because he thought it was funny, because that's what you've seen PewDiePie do.
Yeah.
And yeah,
No,
just,
going
copy this up, like, yeah, be original with it.
Going back to gaming, in regards to YouTubers becoming famous through their gaming skills, you know, back in the day, there was people who were actually really, really good at specific games, and that would cover that game and that only game, and they became specialists at it, and people used to follow, get hints and tips. But now, because you're talking, you know, quite a few numbers of years back, but now, because it's just a diverse number of games, so many people doing it, I can name 5 people who I can say that this person is the best at this game, this best at that, couldn't do it. Back in the day, I could. But because now you've got people who now, instead of just doing video content just for the fun of it and make a bit of money, it's their jobs. You know, one of my favorite content creators, J2 Cent, and I've watched him for years. And I've loved his stuff. I've learned a lot from the guy and give him respect for, keeping his credibility in regards to not accepting offers from companies to sponsor stuff. And I love that about him. I love the water cooling that he did. But as soon as he's been making quite a fair bit of money and decided to make that his full time, I've seen a change. You know, his content's still fantastic, if not even better. But I've seen that for him as a person, I've seen that it doesn't have that enthusiasm because it's a job. Yeah. You know, you're relying on that. You're relying on that content to feed your family. Don't get me wrong; you get sponsored, and you know
he gets a lot of money from it.
Yeah, But then you look.
That's what everything's about. But
no, but think he's got
a job. He gets a lot of money.
Yeah. I think his channel is growing at a steady rate. Barnacles, who does a podcast with, again, he's been going through a tough time. But again, I used to watch his stuff on 3D printing. And again, as soon as they turn into a job, and all of these people start popping up, and they said that looks like J2 Sense style, and there's about 4 or 5 people that I follow, and it's like watching the same frigging channel. You know, they each copying each other, and it's like, is there a format? Everybody just following. So that's for me. When you turn into a hobby into a job, you lose the enthusiasm. But there you go.
Well, I've always maintained that if I ever make any amount of money from my hobby, it would still stay my hobby. I wouldn't make it my main job. Say, a stupid example, but let's just say I was earning £2,000 a month from YouTube, but still only earning £1,000 from my main job. I would still keep my main job.
Of course.
Because my main job's guaranteed. YouTube isn't.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah, I mean, myself personally,
you could be popular. You could be popular one month, and then the next month you could just gone. No one gives a shit.
Listen, I can't do that. I mean, I'm fortunate. I've got a good job at Bentley Motors. The times that I work convenient with the family time, and since Mr. Richard, again, bow to the legend, Mr. Richard, the founder of PC Shed, none of this would have been possible. None of this would have existed without his influence. Right from day one, we never monetized videos. Never, because we just said we'll just have a laugh with it and see where it goes. And it's been a journey for him. A lot of people don't know this. It's been a journey, a learning journey for Richard, and this is to support that. And now he's flying, which is great. And he's not here tonight. You know, just what's going on? You know, and this is what happens, isn't it? You had the idea for the channel, we put it together, and who does all the donkey work? Bloody foreigner. Thank you. I got the shitty end of the stick here. I think I've got the shitty end of the stick, but never mind. Cool.
Should I get your violin out now, or later?
No. It just there's so much stuff that I want to do. I just don't have the time scale, because trust me, I could spend a whole week doing stuff, filming, editing, and pretty much put a video every day. That's how much stuff that are ideas that I have, but it's one of those. It's not important because I've got a family, and that takes priority above everything. Anyway, while talking about Richard, I'm going to throw one of my topics. My topic
fire away.
For today. I'll just minimize that. Sorry. Try to find.
So you should.
So hopefully people can see that. Yes, you can. So if people don't know, we have. Oh God, blimey! Too many windows open. We have back last year done a folding experiment. And for those that don't know what folding is, it's Stanford University.
When you get your clothes and your bed sheets.
No. So there we go. So,
no, that's not it.
No.
I'm thinking it wrong.
So it's using your computer hardware to help Stanford University doing research of breakdown of proteins that could help find a cure for Alzheimer's, Huntington, Parkinson. So if you go into Folding Stanford, Folding, you'll find all the information. Now, we joined a team, and the team that we chose to join is a custom, try to find, there we are, user, team summary. Custom PC and BitTech, so it's a joint venture, had originally over 9,000 users, and at the moment only 170, I believe, 167 active people folding out of 9,000, and they are number 7th in the world. EVJ is number 1. So our team number is, if you want to join our team, or if you prefer to do your own team, fantastic, please do so. It doesn't matter what type of hardware you have. Now, Richard is obviously the proud owner of a Titan X Pascal, which is probably the current best card for folding. Folding a project will give you a number of points, how quickly you can virtually do that work project or work unit, and it accumulates. So in a day, if he was to leave his computer running for 24 hours, he's producing about 1 million points a day. But if you stop and start, that will affect. So to give an idea of how he's been doing, you can find this on extremeoverclockingfolding.com. It's a website where it gets updated every 3 hours. All the teams, you can see all the stats. And if we see here, I don't know if you can see my mouse, probably not. So last year on November, I think we peaked per month 83 million points, and that was with a lot of machines. And we had a bit of a break, and he kind of started doing it again. And so he's produced last week over 3.2 million points, and at the moment it's at 2.9. And he, in a month's time, if he keeps doing about 500,000 points every 24 hours, give or take, he will be moving position, catching another user. And I'll just see the overtake. And yes, ZZ9PZZA, who's currently in 211 million points. And we are currently 100. Yeah, well, considering Doc Jones, he's on 3 billion points, and he's number one, and he's been number one for a long time, and it's a great contribution. So there you are. So if you'd like to join us on our team is called PC Shed TV. Our number is 35947, and all you have to do is download a client from Stanford University, and then you can choose to fold with your graphics card and CPU together. But most likely, I would advise just do it with your graphics cards, because it gives you more points in return. You can also fold using your Chrome browser, which is pretty cool. So for those that don't like laptops, on what this does is, instead of giving a huge work unit, gives you a small work unit, which takes like 10 minutes, right? And it virtually uses your CPU, does that work unit, sends it off, and gets you another one. And you can set on low, medium, or high. So if your laptop is idle, put it on high, because you can use all the resources. But if you're using your laptop, you can put it on medium and still use your laptop and fold at the same time, which is great. So there you go, folding at home.
And it's for a good cause.
It is for a very good cause, and you know, we were looking for a project last year of how, because we're like random act of kindness, what can we do? And this was one that I'd done before, and it was interesting to use different graphics cards, seeing what works best, what gives more points, which ones actually works at a good temperature, and Nvidia cards are better optimized for folding. AMD do quite well, but they are not the frequency. The higher the frequency of your graphics card, the better return you'll get. The more CUDA cores.
Memory speed also affected?
Not really. Not really, no. And it doesn't matter if you have a slow internet or anything like that. It's all about the number of CUDA cores or processing units, AMD, and the actual frequency of the actual GPU. So hence why the Titan X, the Pascal version, to give you an example, to the old Maxwell version, the Maxwell was doing about 500,000 points, give or take, to 700,000. The new Pascal, because of the higher frequency, I think the original Maxwell was 1,000 megahertz. You can overclock the Pascal to 2,000 megahertz. It's got more CUDA cores, and it achieves 1 million points in 24 hours. So huge gain, plus the power. So that was one thing, because if you were to run a graphics card for long periods of time, you don't want the card to be sucking up hundreds and hundreds of watts of power. So there you go. That was my bit. So
cool beans.
Cool beans. Right. Believe it or not, we in the world at the moment, there's over 1.8 million people, and we are ranked 1009 in the world. That's not bad,
That's a pretty good achievement.
No.
Like, considering when you started to where you are
A man in a shed.
and in a shed.
Yeah.
In a shed.
So there you go.
I mean, yeah. Did you actually cover? I can't remember how much you covered it on your own channel, but did you actually say how many systems you had running?
Yeah.
Folding when you were doing it.
We did a couple of videos on it, and I think it got to a point it was just getting ridiculous. I think we had about
you had like 3 servers running like 2 graphics cards each.
Yeah.
With, like, 2 CPUs
At one point
each.
we had 17. I think the maximum was like 17 graphics cards at one point, which was ridiculous.
Oh, jeez.
You know, and
you
that
had
was
like 2 Titans in one computer.
so we
as
had we had 2 Titans in one. Then we had an open bench with 2 970s. Then we had another a server with another 2 970s. We tried a 690 GTX, which is the 2 GPUs in one, and that was mental. We also tried
the heat.
yeah. I had to put the fans at full blast. You know, my shed. As soon as you come near my shed, all you could hear was because all the fans, which was fine because it didn't bother me because it's separate from my house. But you know, neighbours were, what the hell is going on in there? So
Sounds like it's got a leaf blower on 24/7.
Yeah, just drying some paint is fine. But you know, I got great neighbours, so they were very forgiving. But yeah, it was just too many. So a lot of lessons learned from there. So biggest lesson is better to get the most powerful graphics card you can afford than to get smaller little ones. If you're just starting, get a small one, but then you realise it gets very addictive and you get more and more and more and more. And we were producing up to 4 million points at peak at 24 hours. And can I just say, we were folding 24 hours a day for 3 bloody months. And that's why we managed to get up to the top 30 and beating people that have been folding for years. And within 3 months, and we haven't folded for about 6-7 months because of the electricity costs, and we were still in the top 30, and we moved up again. So there you go. So well done, Richard.
Well done, Sergio.
Yeah. Well, Richard is doing it at the moment.
Yeah.
Right. What else do you want to cover?
It's only a brief subject really, but it can lead into talking about other graphics cards and stuff and the possibilities.
Go on.
On TechSpot, I found a article saying that AMD is already massively discounting their graphics cards and other tech for the pre-release, before the release of Vega. I'll give you an example here.
Yep.
The first card to hit the discount pile is a Radeon Pro Duo, which I'd never heard of, I must admit.
Oh, the dual,
dual GPU graphics card. Yeah,
big expensive card, dual card.
Yeah. It said designed primarily for compute workload, so basically stuff like folding, if you want to say it that way.
Folding card.
This card is essentially the equivalent to 2 Fiji-based Radeon R9 Fury X's in Crossfire.
Which is about 500 quid a piece.
With 4 gigs of HBM per GPU.
Yeah.
While Crossfire isn't supported in every game, doesn't always offer 100% scaling, but more than 16 teraflops of performance is the perfect, for compute workstations. The Radeon Pro Duo is currently available for, this is in dollars, $799.
Wow.
Down from its launch price of $1,500.
Yeah. Yep.
So it's pretty much a 50%.
Wow.
Off.
Wow.
How soon until Vega comes out? A couple of months?
March, I believe.
So that's quite a discount.
I can see why they're doing it, because they want to shift the
that's
old generation.
It says that they want to get rid of the stock, and then for when the new stuff comes
But I tell you what, even at $700, still a little stupid amount of money. But what a phenomenal card! If anybody's out there for CAD design, rendering of any sort, that is a phenomenal card. But
isn't it pretty much the same sort of vein as the what's it called again? The Quadro, the Nvidia Quadro cards. Where it's just meant for
what they've done here, it's very simple, right? So the Fuji core, they put 2 in one PCB and put it in Crossfire. That's all they've done. So all the trick in a book. And Nvidia has done it. We mentioned the 690. dual card. It's simple as that. But what was special about this card, he had new technologies that never been out before, like HMB memory, and they had four. They were limited to 4 gigs, and they managed to put 2 4 gigs stacks together to work together because it was a dual card. So, and the teraflops, 16 teraflops.
16 teraflops.
But you got to think it's 2 cards. Think about it. It's about 8 per card. Considering that the 1080 Ti is around, I think it's, I don't know, 9, or the Titan is around the 12 mark.
For gaming, it's not going to scale very well because of like the crossfire, and then you've also got the teraflops doesn't always amount to yes, you're going to get all that for gaming. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
But like you said, for like rendering and stuff like that,
I am surprised they are discounting so early. You're not going to see that from Nvidia.
Doesn't do that.
Do you know what they've done? The bastards, and they've increased the Titan X Pascal by £100.
So what's it now?
£1,150.
Bloody hell!
Right?
Yeah.
I'll just have a quick look, see if it's bumper up again, because now they virtually have some sort of a date that when Vega's coming out, and they're gonna do their bit around the 3rd of March. That's the rumor, around the 3rd. They are gonna virtually squeeze out the sales of the Titan X. So just have a quick look.
I'm managing my Windows now. Yeah.
Alright, let's have a quick look. See what prices. They've gone up again. £1,179.
It's gone up by £30.
Considering that was $1,050 about a week ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
You mean 1150? Yeah.
Was it 1150?
That's what you just said. It was 1150.
From 1,050. That was the original price for ages. Last week I saw it at 1150, and they've actually bumped it up again by an extra 29 quid.
Richard said he got it for £1,099, wasn't it?
So they already, they started increasing then, and that was like 2 weeks ago. So, was it 2 weeks? Yeah, last week. But
Nvidia.
Yeah, this is what pisses me off in regards to when it comes to graphics card from Nvidia.
Yeah, they're great.
The 10,000 series cards, the 1080, and we'll cover 1080 in a minute. It's a mid-range card at premium freaking prices. Yeah, and to be fair, bloody hell, almost £1,200 for a graphics card that you would expect that, yes, it's the premium card, but bloody hell, that is, it makes you wonder what the 1080 Ti price is going to be. It's going to be around the £800. I thought maybe between 650 700. I'm thinking now 800 plus.
Well, from Nvidia, let's talk about pricing for a sec, because we were talking about this pre-podcast and it was fucking pissing me off.
Yeah.
From Nvidia's own website, the 1080 Founders Edition is £619. I think that was the last price I saw. I haven't looked today. I don't know if it's gone up again. But EVGA, standard Founders Edition card from EVGA is about 700 odd pounds. 750, 780, something ridiculous like that.
Yeah.
And then you got their super clock cards, which are like 650, and then you got for the Win editions, which are closer to the 700 mark. And it's like, where's the scaling? Why is a Founders Edition so much more expensive than Nvidia's own? What's the difference? Why is it so much more? I know EVGA have a really good warranty service.
Yeah.
I've experienced that firsthand.
Better cooler.
Yeah,
that's one.
They're better cooler, but this is on the Founders Edition.
Right, the Founders Edition, and he was still saying, is the fucking reference card. Since that press conference that I saw, bloody hell, just made your face blown up over my screen. through Skype. Since that bloody conference of Nvidia launching that actual card and saying the Founders Edition, look at our sexy design and cooler and our engineered,
I do like the design of Founders Edition.
right?
I do like
And then virtually having that rendering at over 2035 megahertz, and then people going berserk. Oh my god! Oh my god! And then they actually got the card, whacked the card in, and virtually they saying to their customers is, you want it? Look, it's all shiny. Do you really want it? Well, fuck you and give us money. Give us money.
Yeah.
Because it's about £100+ premium for what you would have paid for a standard card if it was a previous series, a 900 series or whatever. And they just went, no, you can only get this from us. Right? Like the Titan. The Titan, they're being shady this time compared to the previous Maxwell Titan, because they allowed manufacturers to sell Titan X's under their own brand name. It's still the same reference board, same circuitry. They could change the cooler if they needed be, but most
they
didn't.
changed the colour, but they couldn't change the PCB anyway.
This time round, no fucker can get it. Nvidia,
It's over from Nvidia.
For Nvidia. If you're wondering why here in the UK, you go to any computer store in the UK, and I'm talking like even the big names like Overclockers, Scan, Furious PCs, and they say, I'd like to buy a Titan X Pascal, please. And I say, sorry, we can only sell to you if you buy a system from us. They can only sell it to you if it's within a system. That's ridiculous. But hey-ho, rant over.
Lovely.
Rant over. But talking of graphics card, while I've got this open up, I don't know if you saw this. This is in Kit Guru. So it looks like Gigabyte may have already shown off a GTX 1080 Ti. And there was a video of showcasing the new motherboards coming out, and they are bringing in a new brand. The G1 for Gigabyte was their premium. Now is the G1 stepped up as extreme. Now they brought one called Aorus, right, which is their enthusiast cards. And this card is, and they were displaying this card, and just on the video they let it slip that this is for a GPU. They didn't say what it was, but this is a beautiful card. It's got a copper water block at the back and the front, air-cooled, sorry, this one. I'm sure there'll be a water-cooled version. 2 8-pin PSI connectors. But what they let us slip was, they said it's for an upcoming GPU by Nvidia. No, the only upcoming GPU Nvidia's got. So people will be going on, and the actual card itself, they've got the cooler already on a 1080, which is similar to what they displayed, which BitTech did a great write-up and doesn't perform any better than any other 1080s. This is what you're going to find. I'm quite intrigued to see how you found it. But most 1080s, except Founders Edition, will maxed out 2165 seems to be the max you can get out of it due to the voltages. And if it's water cooled, it's more stable. But if it's air cooled, you still hit that. So they couldn't get.
And one thing I will say, whilst it's on my mind, is that when it comes to the 1080s, especially, I think it's the same for the 1070s. Is that a 1080 is a 1080. It doesn't matter what color is on it. It doesn't matter what brand you're buying. It's a 1080. It's going to perform the exact same. I mean, sure you could get the silicon lottery. Some may overclock higher and stuff, but it's
the only difference. The only difference that you're paying is, and if you notice, the 1080s was all about aura lighting, RGB lighting, is how effective the noise levels are. You know, the cooling, right, and the lights. The actual,
that's all you're paying.
Even with the fancy, even with the behemoth, got somewhere up there, the Hall of Fame, the behemoth card with huge cooler, extra power design, it's all locked down. Now you can flash the BIOS, and I've got a copy of the BIOS, but I'm not going to flash it because if I was to keep it, I would flash it straight away and unlock the voltage because that cooling is phenomenal and quiet. So there you go. Right.
I haven't got any more topics.
So I got plenty.
I'm about to seat my pants.
I got plenty. So, going back to the title of the podcast, will the new graphics cards and processors be worth the wait?
I think on AMD side, the processors definitely will be, especially. I've said it before, but I'll say it again. Like the 8-core 16-thread processors at more affordable price. It could potentially lead into PC gaming being a bit more optimized towards using more cores as opposed to just 4. And potentially being optimized to towards hyperthreading as well.
Yeah.
Or whatever. What does AMD call theirs? I know it's the same sort of thing, but I thought they call it. They call it something else.
No, it's multi-threading.
It's multi-threading anyway. So you can, for those who don't know, I doubt you wouldn't know if you're watching this sort of podcast. But what the hyperthreading multi-threading allows you to do is take one CPU core, but still put 2 threads of workload through that CPU, so it'll effectively act like 2 CPUs, and it will make processes such as rendering, because I think
like
actually use it.
Adobe.
Adobe and
Premiere.
Make those sorts of programs run faster.
Yeah, definitely.
I think stuff like web browsers and stuff might use it, but I don't know for sure. I have no way of finding that out, but I could be just talking at my ass there.
No, you're right. Right, I tell you
when
what.
it comes to actually gaming, the CPUs only ever use like 4 cores. Even if you've only got an i7, no matter how many cores it's got, you'll still only use 4 cores for gaming.
Most of the time, absolutely true. Gaming prefer higher frequency than cores at this moment in time. The X11
as well.
Yeah, they wait.
Santos video said that as well. He found that the dual core that has hyperthreading, the new one that's come out, he was saying that acts pretty much like a quad core because of how fast the single thread performance is in that CPU.
Yeah. People might disagree, but until DX12 becomes the main standard and ASIC compute by Nvidia, that's been demonstrated on Ashes of Singularity, there won't be a huge advantage of having a humongous 10-core jobby, like Intel's i7 69.
Unless you're running a server or doing a shit ton of rendering.
Even with a server, I tested I tested a dual Xeon. 6-core.
Remember that when you were building that when I was there?
Yeah, 6-core, right, with hyperthreading. So do the maths. How many cores? At 3 gigs, turbo. I think it's 2.66 or whatever. And I whacked on the game just to see. I had an external 970, I think it was, plugged in with the external power supply. Just the HP Z600 is a weird case with modular specific power supply, and it wasn't utilizing 70% of the cores. Like I said, it was using mainly 4 cores peaked. You said the other cores just there sleeping, doing 10-20%, doing nothing. Well, the other cores were 80, around 70-80 mark usage. So I think Intel this year, I think that bringing out the 10-core CPU just for the sake of it, that's what it felt to me last year, because they already had that on a Xeon platform, except it was locked, and they're just bringing it up to the new smaller die size and unlock it and charge almost £1,700 for it, and people gobble that up, and you can only utilize that for benchmarks, really. Is it a gaming CPU? Yeah. No, it isn't. It's not a frigging gaming CPU. Yes, of course you can game on it, but and you can get up to overclocking 4.4, 4.6, but for the price, where you can get a dual core or a quad core processor for a fraction of the price, either by Intel themselves or AMD, and still have the same gaming performance. Now, when it comes to rendering, that's a different kettle of fish. Right.
Then it becomes a race between CPUs.
Yeah. So I don't know what is Intel gonna bring, because Kaby Lake came out, and to be fair, once I saw all the specs, and then I've seen the percentage of the number of CPUs actually achieve 5 gigahertz, and believe it or not, overclockers are actually doing 7700K delidded, new paste on the actual chips, tested, guaranteed to work at 5 gig and above for £450. Which
doesn't delid it avoid the
no,
warranty?
they give because they do it themselves. OC UK Labs, which is their team, they give you a year's warranty with it. But it's guaranteed to work. I think it's 1.35 volt at 5 gigahertz minimum, and that's the first time I've seen Silicon Lottery in the States. They sell binned. They've been tested, and they can do delidding, but you pay a huge premium. Plus, when you get it imported, you get custom tax. But here we are in the UK. You can go there tomorrow, and they've got them binned by Mr. AKA 8-pack, Ian Perry, right there to virtually. So if you got a Z170 motherboard, it's backwards compatible. Did you know that? As long as you update the newest BIOS of your motherboard manufacturer, you can put a 7700K on a Z170 motherboard. Yeah, you won't get all the features that Intel is offering with the new CPU, because some of the features is for the Z270 motherboards, but gives you an idea that you don't have to upgrade your motherboard if you want the latest CPU.
That's one thing I've been wanting to see more of, is backwards compatibility in a way. Yes, upgrade your CPU, but you don't always have to. I want to upgrade my CPU now. I'm going to get a new motherboard. I'm going to get new RAM. It's a fair old whack.
Yeah. And I've been looking at a lot of motherboards. I've been doing a lot of research in regards what's the premium out there, because the main two, in my eyes, you've got ASUS, Gigabyte, MSI. You also have ASRock, but for the gaming, enthusiast gaming, ASUS, they're in my eyes the number one. I love that.
I've got an Asus motherboard.
Yeah.
I trust Asus. Motherboards for me, it's motherboards. Asus, graphics cards, EVGA, Kingston for the RAM and hard drives. Even though I got Western Digital, sorry, for the hard drives, because thanks to you, I've got
That's all right.
Western Digital. It's an amazing hard drive. It really is.
For me, motherboard, ASUS, graphics card, Gigabyte, power supply, Corsair, RAM, Corsair, and the hard drive, Western Digital, and Samsung for SSDs.
Was it Western Digital that were? I wouldn't say they were the first, but didn't they kind of like pioneer the color coding for hard drives? This is for dedicated, for that and black.
I mean, there was other companies that were doing it, but they virtually kind of became their thing, like green drives. Mine are mostly green drives.
Yeah,
I've got a
because
couple
they're
of
just
blacks.
storage drives, isn't they?
It's virtually, they turn themselves off when they're not being
really?
accessed. Yeah, it's brilliant. But the computer doesn't throw a fit. I've got a couple of blue and blacks, and I had the red, which I sold to Mr. Richard because it was NAS system needed extra storage, so 3 terabyte.
Yeah.
And I said, that'll do me for a bit, but I might need another one soon. And I was like, Jesus Christ, how much storage space do you need?
Well, yeah. It depends on what he's downloading, if you know what I mean.
Well, yeah. He does have his Plex. He's got quite a pretty good setup.
Yeah.
But, But what all of this doesn't make a difference in regards to GPU, graphics cards, because Microsoft are trying to fuck people over again with scare tactics.
Yeah.
So this week, myself personally, I saw a comment direct from Microsoft stating, warning Windows 7 users are at risk, security risk, and they need to upgrade to Windows 10. Well, I won't fucking do it, because number one, as you can, I'll put it here so people can see, Microsoft is supporting Windows 7 till 2020, so you got another 3 years. They've stopped pretty much XP support, they killed that, and they want to virtually use for static, saying, we're not supporting and do security updates on Windows 7. The most highly secured system we have is Windows 10. And I was thinking, why would you dish your own product? That's me like going to a car manufacturer and buying a car, and then a new model comes up, and virtually they say, this one is better and it's faster than your old one, and by the way, if your old one breaks down, we can't fix it, we're not doing any parts for it.
We're not going to support it.
That's essentially what they say. And no offense, mate, Microsoft, if your updates on Windows 10 were spot on, then I would have no issues. But every time you issue a frigging update, there is absolutely tons of consumers, e.g. people like me, right, that turn up and their computer is messed up because we left the auto updates on, so you can fuck it up. So thanks Microsoft for that. No thank you.
Yeah, don't talk to me about Windows 10 updates.
I'm not a Windows 10.
Terrible.
I to this day, I still say Windows 7 has been my favorite operating system. I'm using Windows 8.1 because I've changed it in a way that it feels like Windows 7, and it does what it needs to do. It's not my favorite. There's some stuff I don't like, but it doesn't frigging give me a fit, apart from when it decided to.
I will say Windows 10, when it's working in its current state for me right now, it's actually better than Windows 8. I will say it is better. Like the whole just user experience is better. I'm glad I upgraded.
See, that's Windows the thing. I never liked the boxed. I didn't like that. That's why I've changed. I've got a custom settings. It's like an interface that virtually allows me to use Windows 8.1 as if it was Windows 7. And that'll suit me. I'm a very easy man to please when it comes to stuff like that. But when I see like people,
I've still got a Windows XP install disk.
I've got all of them. I still got Windows Media, Windows 98, and the horror Windows Vista. And even got a burnt copy of Windows Millennium, Windows 2000. You remember that? Yeah.
I mean, I was younger. Every time a new operating system would come out, my dad would burn me a copy. Get a CD key for me and post it down.
Yeah.
So I would always have the latest version of Windows.
Carl says, I'm sick of hearing about Ryzen already. In most PC groups on Facebook, fans are commenting everywhere, wait for Ryzen. That's what we're saying. We're sick of waiting. Use what you have. Enjoy it. I'm still with my 4790K. Love it. Does everything that I need to do. It's been I've got all graphics cards. It's been great testing some nice cards. But guess what? I'm going back to my good old trusty card. And
the
I don't
980 Ti, is it not?
For the moment, yes.
I'm currently rocking the 980.
There you go.
For the win.
Yeah.
For the win.
But again, this is what I mean. People are going, you're absolutely right. On Facebook groups, people say, oh, by the way, I've got this. I've got a 6700K. Is it worth me upgrading to the 7700K? Or shall I wait for... Well, if you're going to wait, you're going to wait for all your frigging life. Make a decision, for Christ's sake. It's not... Actually, you've got Google, right?
Yeah.
You've got frigging internet. Do your own research, and you'll find very quickly if you've got a 6700K, it's not worth upgrading to the 7700K because there's hardly any performance gains there. 10%.
Is it
10%.
Like 5%?
10%. Now, if you like to brag how big your balls are and say, look, my GPU can do 5.1 gigahertz, then the Kaby Lake will be a lot easier to achieve that than the Skylake. But apart from that, sort this shit out. But yeah, good point.
That PC video again. It's coming back to me. But I was going to say something, but I was letting you around, but I can't remember.
No, that's fine.
What it was now. Oh, yes. I did notice going from the 1080 back to the 980 now, I do actually see the performance difference.
Yep.
Because started playing Metal Gear Solid 5 Phantom Pain on the 1080, and then the other day I took the 1080 out, and that's when I messaged you saying that I took it out, and then I put my 980 back in, and then using the exact same settings, put the 980 in, and there's frame drops.
Yeah.
So it would stay above 60, like well above 60. I kept the VSync on just to keep everything nice and smooth, but when playing on the 980, it dips down to 30 at times. It'll go back up to 60, but it's obviously when things are busy in the game. But I'm running at 1440p. So
yeah, there you go. I mean, if you were running that 1080p, then no issues whatsoever.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't have any issues.
I'm at 4040p, 60 hertz.
I run 1440p.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
That's everything on the game maxed out. Anti-aliasing, everything's maxed out.
Is that on stock speeds or overclocked?
Currently, it is running stock. I do have an overclock profile, but it's only overclocked to 15. I think the max is 15. I don't want to start fiddling with it now. No, that's fine. But it jumps to just because you know how the MSI Afterburner, it's got like the clock speed on the top where it's got 2, 4, 600, 800. It's the blue arrow, which is the boost, is just below the 1600.
Oh bloody hell!
Like 1500 something. Yeah. It's quite high.
The 980s, they are phenomenal overclockers. I mean, that is a lot. That's actually 50 megahertz higher than the 980 Ti, believe it or not. That on mine, yeah, specifically mine, 1550.
Yours has more CUDA cores, so
yeah.
And it's also got more RAM.
But still, apart from those two things, phenomenal performance. You're talking almost your starting point of the 1080. A box standard start frequency.
But this card. I don't know what the Founders Editions or whatever they called them previous generation of the 900 series cards. But I don't know what the stock frequency was. But this is for the win EVGA for the win card. So it's overclocked by default from EVGA, and then I've overclocked it a little bit more because the cooler on it's amazing. It's loud, but it's amazing.
True. On the card, I think I'll skip the card. What's your thoughts in regards to VR and the way that's
Don't care.
Right?
I don't care.
You remember Google got behind it, and then last year everybody was VR. Yeah. You know, even Sony behind it. And
I understand that it has its place and it has its niche,
for me, it's
a good experience. But for me, I don't care. I'm not interested.
Have you seen how many VR headsets are actually currently second-hand on sale on eBay? That kind of gives you an expo.
I haven't looked.
So, Oculus Rift, the Vibe, and Sony's VR actually been well received. But, let's just bring that over here. But, Sony's silence on PlayStation VR could spell trouble for the actual market. So what they're saying, last year everybody was shouting about it, and now everybody, because game support was the big issue. That was the issue last time they tried to reboot VR, and this time round, all you've been getting has been demos, a couple of small little games, but nothing full blown, because the technology, even though that's progressed, to get that high frame rate, you need a beefy PC.
Yeah, you do.
And for the console, not as beefy, but you still need good content.
Well, the games need to run at a minimum of 60 FPS because people get motion sickness otherwise.
True, but for me, if you don't have the content to play the bloody thing off, people are just going to turn off. It becomes a bit of a gimmick, and this is what's happening. And this is what they're saying is, well, they've dropped a game studio who was behind one of the most popular games on VR, and they're not virtually doing a lot of advertising that you expect them to do. So VR shipments for all three companies moving 750,000 units late last year, debuted just weeks before the PlayStation 4 isn't bad, but it's not friggin' fantastic. But anywho, I just wanted to get your feedback on that.
I'm not interested.
No.
Like I said, I know it has its niche market, but I'm not interested.
Yep. Cool. Kind of covered that. Have you seen any of the new motherboards for the Z270?
Not much, other than what came out of the CX.
Yeah, I mean, now that virtually, you got the processors that's actually out. There's been some nice looking motherboards. The Asus Maximus formula, nice, but I'm disappointed they're only virtually concentrating on 2 PSI Express lanes. Because Nvidia has dropped for future graphics cards more than 2 graphics card and SLI.
Probably because of the efficiency of the cards now, you don't need it.
That, but also, well, if that's the case, then why would they allow 3-way and 4-way for benchmarks like 3D Mark, Fairmark, and
But mind you, I guess that's going back to the whole folding thing. If you are using it under that sort of loads,
folding, you don't need a SLI. But all the motherboards that I've seen so far for the Z270 all pretty much have 2 PSI Express. Which is...
Well, I'm only using 1 on my motherboards, so...
Yeah. Considering that even my old Z970 Maximus has got multiple. And that was, for the 4790K, they only got 16 lanes divided, 8 and 8. So this motherboard, because it supports the 7 and 6 gen Intel processors, which had the extra PSI Express lanes, you would expect to have it more. But yeah, a bit disappointing. The prices of Asus motherboard has gone up big style.
Have they?
Yeah, I've noticed. Like I said, I keep my eye on out for products.
I should probably keep my eye on like tech prices and stuff more often, but I don't.
Yeah, I because I'm always checking stuff on Gumtree, on eBay. I always know what the range prices. And the X99 Rampage Edition 10. And I actually got 3 of those. I've actually got
3 when 1 just isn't enough.
That was the latest before they brought the 10. Okay, and the price, that's still holding its price from when it came out, but the edition 10, £500+. Fucking hell. And it's like...
I paid... For my motherboard, I originally paid anywhere between 50 and 80 tops. I didn't pay that much for my motherboard. It still does the exact same job.
This is... It's like a frigging disco ball. It's all RGB lighting. It's overkill. MSI, I don't know if you remember, they brought out a white PCB motherboard called Titanium, right? So they've brought another version of that for the Z270 and looks very nice. Reinforced PSI lanes, white PCB, and that would make it very
really heavy graphics cards that weigh half a ton, like the classified or for the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
God, they're heavy.
Yeah.
Heavier than they need to be.
Yeah. And Gigabyte, they brought their Z270X Gaming 8, and if you get a chance, have a look at that, because that is the new standard by Gigabyte Aorus. That's their enthusiast package for graphics cards and motherboards, and that looks quite impressive. I mean, it's got RGB lights on the RAM, on the PSI Express, on frigging pretty much everything. Here's a disco ball. But yeah, very impressive stuff.
Talk about disco ball. I had just randomly thought back to Richard's PC that he had, like the lights changing. In time with the
he
music
got
going up
himself
and down.
a Hue 2-channel kit or 4-channel kit. So he's got that hooked up, so it pulses with the music. So if he's got loud music,
I don't need that.
It's what makes him happy.
It's individualism, though.
Yeah.
That's the beautiful thing about computers or PC. It is yours. You can make it yours,
Yeah.
and that's why they have like entire shows dedicated to like custom computers, like how they look, and
Yeah.
they're judged and everything. It's because it's your PC is your PC. I mean, mine's fairly basic because I don't actually give a shit how it looks. I want it to perform well. Yeah, there you go. That's my 2 cents on that.
Yeah. Hello, the Melon. Yo, what's up? I'm all right. Thanks for joining us. Great name, the Melon.
The Melon.
Yeah. So, in regards to for anybody that wants to start gaming, and they see these prices, they just puts you off building. That's what I mean. That's what I mean. And people wonder, well, why do you buy a pre-build? Why don't you build it yourself? Well, because when you start seeing prices like this, and you start adding up, for someone that's on the budget, the motherboard itself for like X99, you can buy a frigging PC, for the same bloody price, and that's mental.
Me and a friend of mine, because he's wanting to get a new computer. He's got a old system. It's I think it's an i5 CPU with 7770 in it. That shows how old it is. That was his newest part in the computer, was a 7770, and it still runs fine. He plays games. He's quite happy with it, but he was wanting a new computer, and we were looking at the PC parts. We found these pre-builts. One was like 600, 700 pounds. It had a 1060 in there, had 16 gigs of RAM, I think. Had an i5 in there, the latest i5 at the time, since now they brought out the 7000 series.
Yeah.
A few other things. I think it had 2 hard drives, SSD for the boot. But yeah, real nice case as well. Nice white, because he's got a white desk. He wants a white PC case. It was about 700 quid. And we went through overclockers, we went through eBuy, we went through scan, piece by piece, and we couldn't build the same system for as cheap.
Yeah.
It can't be done. Not currently, it can't be done.
No. That's why second-hand, for me, is the place to be. Because...
that was using all new parts. Second-hand would be a bit of a different story, but using all new parts, you couldn't build the same system. I mean, prices may change when Vega and that come out, but at the moment, I would always recommend building your own system, because you can say, yes, this is mine. I built it myself.
Yeah.
Without someone else having to do it for you. But at the moment, price-wise, I would actually say, if you're just getting into PCs, buy pre-built, because they're going to be just as good and cheaper.
True, and there's always a danger buying second-hand parts. At least with a pre-built, you can get some sort of warranty or whatever. If you know what you're looking for, and if you're quite tech savvy, then and you won't get ripped off. But there is always a danger of buying something and it doesn't work as it should, and you don't know if you fucked it up or it's already came buggered up. I got an absolute steal of that X99 motherboard, which I already had another one up there, but and that was bought by somebody brand new. It's been in a cupboard since it's been bought. I mean, it's virtually got everything packaged. And if you were to buy that new, it was like £450, and I got that less than half price, which is still a lot of money. But it's like, that's a keeper. That's a keeper right there. Even if I can't do anything with it, that's a bit of money there that I can make. But hey-ho. Right, fella.
I was going to say something. It's completely gone now. Oh, God. It was to do with that as well. That's old age kicking in.
Go on. Come on, dig deep. Where is it? Well, you covered porn already on YouTube, so it can't be that.
Yeah, well, no. God, what it was to do with graphics cards. No, it's gone.
Oh,
I'll remember as soon as we stop streaming, but it's gone.
Fair enough. I'm just looking for something, but I can't find it. Never mind. Lamelon is asking, are you guys into cars? And what car do you have? He's got an Audi.
I have, well, me and the wife have a Fiat Punto.
Hey, well, I did have, and if you check my YouTube channel, you'll see it auction off, Mercedes CL500 5-litre V8, and I auctioned that off for reasons that will make clear if you watch the video. Well, there you go. But my passion in cars is Japanese cars, definitely. Favorite car of all time, 1998 Nissan Skyline GTR 2.6 litre twin turbo. That is, it's one of those. It's one of those.
One of those.
But, yeah. Right. I think I'm going to call it a night, fella. Unless
it's been about an hour and a half so far. I think we've been
No.
doing this. It's probably the longest one we've been doing. So
have
far,
we
isn't it?
been rambling that long? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, we have.
Well, we've covered. I think we put the world to right. We told Microsoft to fuck off. We got Nvidia to piss off and get your prices sorted, and told Asus Gigabyte MSI and lower your prices on your motherboard so people can actually afford it to start PC gaming. And don't convert to consoles. And oh god, no. Why don't I go down? I'm only joking. But
I know you're covering for Richard because he's not here.
Someone has just said something. Too bloody right. Skyline is my dream, and the R34. Top man. Right. I will actually end up the stream, but are we gonna be here next Thursday, 9 o'clock?
Yeah, I have no reason to not be. I mean,
Okay.
I'm working all earlies next week, so I can be back.
We said we would try different days, but since Thursday 9 p.m. seems to be working both of us at this time being. If anybody feels that's not right, it's the time difference.
I'll also say for the people who have just joined us, once we finish streaming, the stream will go live again on YouTube, so you can watch it back. I know it's not as fun watching a stream back and not live because you always
people
get
have.
interaction.
Believe it or not, people have. Even though that YouTube takes a good 10 minutes before it actually allows you to see it. I can see it straight away, but then it's still processing because I couldn't find it. So, oh bloody hell, was he done with it? But people have been going into it, so it's been nice.
It's good to get feedback on it because it's a relatively young podcast. It's good to get a little bit of feedback on it as well.
Well, for me, I'm just being honest and vent my rants, and it's
good to have a chat though.
It's nice to, I would love to get into more deeper details in regards to tech. It should be interesting to see how this pans out because I've never used a mixer before. So maybe next podcast I will be using this and start fucking pissing you off with all the sound effects.
Be a DJ next week.
No. But we'll see. If I've got time, I'll set it up. If not, I don't know. But anyway, thanks very much for watching, guys. Hope you found this enjoyable, informative, and a bit of banter between two colleagues here. And
colleagues, friends. This is just a funny little.
Well, I won't push it. I won't push it because then people might get the wrong idea. Special.
I wouldn't say we're colleagues because your colleagues would insinuate that we're working. We're not working.
No, I won't call this work. This has been a pleasure. Fantastic. Anyway, thanks very much, and hope to see everybody here on Thursday, 9 p.m. with Andrew, aj-atomica, and Sergio, PC Shared. Thank you.
Good night, guys.
Night.